Hey guys, I wasn't planning on making another video for a while. I kind of wanted to take a day to be me and get some stuff done before we go off to MCM next week. But I've seen a lot of people talk about this online. It's something I wanted to chime in on. And I'm really pissed off with Blizzard, which is probably no point being. It's a massive corporation that ever since the merger with Activision has just stopped giving a damn about its fans. But I'm going to try to do this in one take anyway. To come from my perspective, I'm 36 now. God, I hate the fact I'm 36. But I've been a big fan of Blizzard for a long time. I was a fan of Blizzard before I knew what Blizzard was, because as a kid I borrowed a copy of Warcraft 2 off a friend of mine, and I played it to death, to the point that where I avoided them for nearly a month so I didn't have to give it back, and eventually got my own copy of it. Love that game. And this is on PC when I was a wee babby, as we say in Ireland. And I was not really fit to use a PC at that point. I was kind of an idiot. I would go on to play StarCraft. I would go on to play Warcraft 3. And I would repeatedly come back to Warcraft 3 over the years. I would get its expansion. I would love its characters. I would go on to play loads of cool mods for it, including one that made it like Mario Kart, but also Defense of the Ancients, the original Defense of the Ancients. I went to LAN parties to play that. Went to LAN parties to play Warcraft 3. Then World of Warcraft came along at the perfect time, because it's also messed up. I had a really bad car crash that I just was sort of like, I couldn't do much for a while. I wasn't like bedridden, but I had to save up to pay for the car and things like that. And World of Warcraft came along at the perfect time, that where I wasn't going out because I couldn't go out, and also I was quite sore. So I could sit and play this with my friends. I rolled Alliance originally, and then when the expansion came around, I switched up, played Blood Elf, and never looked back. Oh, actually, that's a lie, because during the pandemic, I went back to playing Warcraft with two really good male friends of mine as a guild called the Bad Bitches, where we all played as female characters, which was different for them, not for me, because I tend to always play as female characters. But it was great fun. I absolutely loved World of Warcraft. Then between all that, I read a lot of the books, so many of them. I was obsessed with the lore. I bought so much merch. Like behind me right now, I have a lot of Funkos. You can kind of see a couple there. My first ever Funko was Deathwing from a very good friend of mine, and that started the addiction. There's a few other random Warcraft ones and a lot of Overwatch ones, and I'll get to Overwatch in a second. In fact, you can see Overwatch May plush behind me. There's Overwatch Diva guns over there. I told them I look like a real weirdo, like none of those guys that pose with their guns, but I'm sitting with a pink gun instead. I don't know if I can pull that look off today. I don't have the skin complexion for it. Or do I? Comment below if I do. Yeah, Overwatch came along, and I am not a fan of FPS, but I was not. There's anything wrong with it, but I'm not that good at it. I'm more different, RPG and RTS for my things. But with Overwatch, I was addicted. I forged one, like at a point in my life where I thought I was in my 30s. I'm not going to be making friends through video games anymore, because when you get to certain points, it's kind of difficult to make friends. I actually forged a really strong friendship through Overwatch, and that resulted in lots of nights of late night play of it, which is great, and I'm still playing with them to this day, which is fantastic. Going to San Diego Comic-Con, a friend brought another friend, and they played Overwatch, and we just sat and talked about it the whole time. This was just when Doomfist came out. They weren't a fan of the concept. I was, so we had lots of cool chat about it. And so much Overwatch merch. Should really dig that at some point, just because we moved a couple of years ago and I still haven't unpacked. Didn't get around to that. Point is, oh yeah, and even on top of that, I have so many Blizzard audiobooks. There's so many good World of Warcraft ones. And the last time I read an entire book in one sitting was a World of Warcraft one, Varian Wyrn, and it was about the Worgen werewolf people. It's really good. I don't know where that copy of it is now, but the point is, I really am a Blizzard fan. And I have a lot of respect for the company, because I can think of at least two cases where they had games in production that they didn't release because they considered them not good enough, Was it Lord of Clans? I believe, like the original Thrall origin game. That may not be the name for it. You can actually get it. It's a point and click game. I think there's ways of getting it now online. Apparently it's still actually quite fun if you're a fan of point and click. Some stuff doesn't really add up lore wise anymore, but it's still fun. And on top of that, then there was the first person StarCraft game that they didn't think was up to scratch, and they just didn't release. Here, drink. Like, this was a company that respected their fans, and they had so many of them. And even then, with the first batch of Overwatch, they did this really cool thing where they made it quite inclusive without shoving stuff down your throat. They had your LGBT characters, they had an autistic character, they had a range of male and female characters, they had a range of looks as well. So it wasn't all the same, and there was something there for everyone. And yeah, I was obsessed. I remember points where I, unfortunately 3 years in a row, I bought digital tickets for BlizzCon. And those 3 particular weeks in a row, I had to work those weekends. So I would come home from work, sleep for like an hour or two, and then I would stay up all night watching BlizzCon, and then I go into work the next day running on coffee and like energy pills. Not my finest time, but still did better than the guys who wanted drinking those nights. I loved Blizzard and everything they did, but yeah, the recent years they've really started to let people down. I remember, again, that I watched the year of the "Don't you guys have phones" year whenever they announced the new Diablo again. Oh my god, I forgot about Diablo. Yeah. I forgot all about Diablo. There's so much stuff. I won't bother with that. But when they announced the new Diablo game and people were excited, they were like, it's mobile phone only, and the crowd weren't happy. And the designers give like a very sarky response, which I can't blame them for, but they should have known better. There's nothing wrong with mobile phone gaming. If that's your jam, that's your jam. But you know, whenever you're about to announce a new Diablo and people think it's going to be Diablo 4, which is coming out soon, and it's not, you're going to let people down. And that's a minor thing. But then you look at everything recently, and there's been a lot of complaints about the staffing problems over Blizzard that I'm not going to get into, because they have dealt with them, but they only dealt with them after a backlash, and does that mean you even care? And I know this thing is easier said than done, and that's why I'm not judging too much on it, because I don't, at that point there, I tuned out because there was so much going on, and I had a lot of personal stuff going on in my life, but I appreciate the fact at least I've done something about it, even though it was after the fact. But this is when it really strikes me as annoying. So, if you're not aware, with Overwatch, it's an online game where you and 4 other people take on 5 other people in a 5v5 fight, or you can do 3v3, 1v1. There's other things, and there's objectives and stuff involved. There's a ton of flashy characters, really cool designs, but there's really good lore as well that we don't really know too much about. Sorry, still having some medical issues from the medication I'm on. But yeah, it has this amazing deep lore where it's set in a world where artificial intelligence rose up to fight against humanity, and humans sort of beat them back, and it's now left in the world where there are humans and machines living together, mostly in harmony. But there are, again, probably human supremacy groups, and there's also machine supremacy groups on top of all that, which is, point is, there's a lot of lore, which is fantastic. But in the first Overwatch game, it didn't really do much of that. It just had like a couple of yearly events that would happen to sort of expand on the lore. There'd be some really cool comics and loads of animated shorts. Shooting Star being my absolute favorite, but that's, again, I'm a diva main. Just that's the character that stars in that one. But there's other really cool ones as well, very much worth checking out. I won't lie, like their short for the character Reinhardt is, it makes you have the feels, which is, you know, that's great. That was such a good part of it. And they promised us that with Overwatch 2, which is free to play, so I can't complain too much about it, you can then, you'll get a PvE mode. So player versus enemy, a more expansive PvE mode. They have that already in practice, but the whole point would be there would be a story mode, a campaign you could play through. And that was a big promise for us. And the deal was, you move from Overwatch 1 to Overwatch 2, this would be something we'll have eventually. And yeah, they just announced that that's not going to happen. They're not doing it. Now again, it's a free game, but you made a promise, and did they ever intend to keep that promise? I don't think so. It just seems like they want an excuse to launch a new game to help, especially over a time when earnings haven't been so great for the company. And it seems like they haven't been, and Overwatch 2 was a good launch for them. They've brought in a bunch of new characters and stuff, but you can only get this if you have the premium battle pass, which you have to pay for. And as far as I can tell, that's going to be an ongoing monthly payment. And then on top of that, you get people in it. Yes, you can play it for free, but every character has multiple skins, little emotes they can do. Do you want to grab her? Let's see if I can grab her. So, spoke before, Diva, my main. You can get this in multiple colors in the game. You can get it to perform little, like I said, emotes. So, projects a little light heart around her. She has loads of voice lines. All the characters have that. In different designs, different things. You can earn points to get that. It's a lot harder now, I find, since playing Overwatch 2. But you can pay for them to shortcut it. That's at least one good thing, because it used to be loot boxes. Now you just pay directly for it. And I don't know. Like, I feel like we've just been screwed over as a fan base. And like I said, they go from a company that give a damn and cancel games because they weren't good enough, to a company that is quite happy to pay lip service to major movements like Gamergate or LGBT rights, can't speak today, LGBTQ plus rights, sorry, can't speak at all today. They do these things in honor of these, they get rid of shitty employees because of complaints made against them. They celebrate LGBTQ plus rights. But they're just doing this for clout. They don't care. Meanwhile, they're shafting us by making us move to a new game that is effectively the same as the old game with some slight changes, but they were making monthly changes anyway. What's the point? Like, I remember a couple of years ago, in honor of breast cancer awareness, they made a new skin for a character, Mercy, one of my other characters I play as. It was pink in honor of her. It looked really cool. It actually does. I still use the skin, and they released some cool merch in honor of this as well. And all funds for this were going to go to breast cancer research or breast cancer awareness. I'm not too sure what it was again. Still bought them. That I was happy to support that sort of thing, because that was good. But now this, why should I even care anymore? Like, I'm still going to play the game. That's the worst bit. But it's put a sour taste in my mouth, and I just don't think they care much anymore. Now, whether or not that is just how the corporation is now since the merger with Activision, it seems to be a lot of problems have come from that. But there were problems in Blizzard already before that. And it's just not the same company I grew up with. This is just me moaning and complaining. Like, at the end of the day, what does it matter what I think? I have no clout compared to some people, but fuck Blizzard. Yeah, oh sorry, fuck Blizzard Activision. They don't care. They haven't cared in a long time. And I think it will hurt them eventually. This won't be the straw that broke the camel's back, but it's gonna hurt them to the point where sooner or one day they'll have enough people walk away. They're not gonna have the loyal fan base they've always had. And that's sad. I'm not wishing that on anyone, but I'm pissed off that this corporation has forgotten where it came from. You know, because at the end of the day, we're the fans that make this possible. But yeah, so on that note, I'm gonna go and just hope you have a good day. Like, subscribe, please. Comment below if you agree with me, or comment below if you've checked out from Blizzard a long time ago, and also like what were your favorite Blizzard games ever. Just go ahead. I feel like having a wee chat, you know, keep an eye on things. Anyway, guys, have a good day, and hopefully see us next week with my next post, if I can get that out in time while I'm at MCM. I'll do my best. But see you guys.